1964, the idea of resolution had been shelved.
In late July, the USS Maddox, a destroyer on an intelligence mission, sailed into the Gulf of Tonkin off North Vietnam. It was later joined by the USS Turner Joy. These two destroyers became involved in an incident which brought the congressional resolution off the shelf. The Navy explained the incident this way.
In international waters in the Gulf of Tonkin, destroyers of the United States Navy are assigned routine patrols from time to time. Sunday, August the 2nd, 1964, the destroyer Maddox was on such a patrol. Shortly after noon, the calm of the day is broken as general quarters sound. In a deliberate and unprovoked action, 3 North Vietnam PT boats unleash a torpedo attack against the Maddox. At once, the enemy patrol boats are brought under fire by the destroyer.
The film charged an unprovoked attack, but it left out crucial facts. Early in the morning of July 31st, unmarked South Vietnamese patrol boats had attacked 2 North Vietnamese island bases, part of a covert operation supported by the CIA. The next night, the Maddox was cruising up the coast, at one point as close as 5 miles. It changed course, and early on August 2nd was 10 miles off one of the islands raided earlier. North Vietnam's patrol boats attacked the Maddox 6 hours later. Hanoi linked the Maddox to the South Vietnamese raids. There was a link.
Knowing in advance that from the South Vietnamese that the commando attacks were going to take place, it was very useful for the United States, for its own purpose in knowing the terrain in that area, to pick up the electronic signals and any messages that were relayed back and forth, indicating where North Vietnamese forces were, what they were doing, and what their reactions to the attacks were. Now, from the point of view of North Vietnam, I feel confident they considered U.S. and South Vietnamese forces in complete collusion to embarrass and damage North Vietnamese military facilities threatening the South.
At the time, Secretary McNamara stressed that the Maddox was simply on a routine patrol.
No, it has no special relationship to any operations in that area. We're carrying routine patrols of this kind on all over the world all the time.
Following the Sunday attack, the Maddox is joined by the USS Turner Joy. As directed by the President of the United States, the Maddox and Turner Joy resume patrol operations in the Gulf of Tonkin. On the night of August the 4th, North Vietnamese patrol boats strike again, as filmed in this recreation.
The determination of all Americans to carry out our full commitment to the people and to the government of South Vietnam will be redoubled by this outrage. Yet our response for the present will be limited and fitting. We Americans know, although others appear to forget, the risk of spreading conflict. We still seek no wider war.
For the first time, American aircraft bombed North Vietnam. The retaliation came after the second incident, an incident Hanoi has always denied.
Đêm mùng 4, đêm quốc Mỹ. On the night of August 4th, the United States made public the so-called Gulf of Tonkin incident. But the story was a fabrication created by the U.S. National Security Council. Even as the National Security Council met, American aircraft were being sent to destroy several areas of our country. In reality, the second Gulf of Tonkin incident never happened.
At that time, I felt it was questionable whether the second incident took place. I simply was not sure. It was not until after a number of days of collation of reports in the field had taken place that many of the reports which seemed to relate to the second incident were proved either to be unsound or to relate to the first incident. This is what intelligence analysis is all about. And in a military situation, quite often, the commanding officers, in this case the President of the United States, don't wait for the details to be settled. If they feel they're in a critical situation with a danger of military conflict, they make decisions without waiting for the intelligence detail.
He felt that it represented, if not an escalation of the war on their part, at least a punch in the nose in a way that would humiliate a great power if it didn't respond. All of this went through his mind, and he also saw it as one dramatic way in which, after weeks and months of seeming indecision, he could convey to Hanoi, to Saigon, and to the other end of Pennsylvania Avenue that you were not dealing with a softie.
Well, I think that President Johnson has done the correct thing. I really do.
I don't think that he could have done otherwise.
You feel
especially when they attacked the American flag, yeah.
I'm behind him on it. I'm not for Johnson. I'm for Goldwater, but I'm behind him on this.
The minute incident number 1 happened, the attack on our ships, the resolution was brought right back off the shelf, put right to Congress, and of course, after incident number 2, sailed through with virtually no dissent, a blank check.
Senator William Fulbright, persuaded the second incident had occurred, whisked the resolution through Congress in 2 days.
Well, I think it's a very clear demonstration of the unity of the country behind the policies that are being followed by the President in South Vietnam, and more specifically of the action that was taken in response to the attack upon our destroyers. It shows a practically unanimous approval. It was unanimous in the House, and only 2 dissented in the Senate.
Being in the minority never proves that you're wrong. In fact, history is going to record that Senator Greening and I voted in the interest of the American people this morning when we voted against this resolution. And I'd have the American people remember what this resolution really is. It's a resolution which seeks to give the President of the United States the power to make war without a declaration of war.